So anyway, welcome back to the PHENIX Investigations Podcast. We got Janet Henson back with us today, the Director of Surveillance. Hey, Janet, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Couldn't be any better. Excited to have you on. It's a good breakup for the week. Excited to just chat for a little while.
Yeah, same. I'm excited to be here as well.
So today we're going to talk about service of process. That's the legal term for it. And just kind of to get started, pretend like I'm 5 years old and have no idea what we're talking about. Talk to us about what is service of process and how'd you get started with it?
So the process of doing service of process is we'll get a call from an attorney or a private client, maybe somebody who's getting a divorce, something like that, and they have to serve legal documents for the court to say that they're being sued, they're being subpoenaed, they're filing for divorce, and they need to appear in court. So that's basically what service of process is. Typically, you can walk up to a door, knock on it, and hand them the papers. Hopefully, it's as easy as that. But lots of times, people know that they don't have to appear in court until they're given those documents. And if they know it's coming, it becomes a difficult serve. Is how we word it. It is a difficult serve, and so it goes from just the typical knock on the door, here you go, here's your papers, to a stakeout.
Okay, so that's where PHENIX Investigations typically comes in on what those, as you call, difficult serves.
Correct. Most of our cases are the difficult ones, just because we've have a lot of experience in it and locating them and use a lot of different tools to try and find, the subject, basically. So, it's.
So, Janet, I can't help it. I'm a civilian in your world. I default always to what is the TV and movie trope of service. And in media, it's always like the process server is dressed up in a costume or they're tricking someone under the guise of some other scenario. And when they reveal themselves to be the person, then they say, you've been served, and hand them the papers. Mm-hmm. How different is reality from that?
So there have actually been some cases where we do have to, use a little bit of tricks, as you, described there. But typically, we would go out there and we would, our goal is to try to get the service done when they leave, right? So when they're coming out of their home or they're arriving back from work, that's the time window there of getting a good serve. So before we even knock on a door, that's the starting point for us. But once they know that it's coming and we have to, do those different tricks or do the stakeout, a lot of it goes online. We follow them online, and it would be easier and better explained if I gave you an example of a case.
Please do.
Yeah, so we just, I'm going to say maybe a month ago, we had a case where it was a high-profile social media influencer. So they are on the line all the time, and they have numerous accounts of different, I could never seen somebody have so many things online. So we were there watching every single thing that was being posted, so we didn't miss something. Maybe this person posted it on Facebook but didn't post it on Instagram, or posted it on TikTok and didn't. So we had to watch them all. And we had somebody out, an investigator out there, starting early morning and waiting for them to depart. And this particular one lived in a high-end apartment complex to where we couldn't get in. So you're just sitting and waiting for them to depart. So we're watching to make sure she's even in town because she travels a lot. So we sat out there a few days and then realized she posted something that she was in Las Vegas. So we're like, okay. So we immediately contacted our Las Vegas investigator, and through where she posted, we were able to look at the photo, see the background, and see what hotel she was at and what bar she was at. So, we had the investigator go to that bar and, show her picture around, and everybody was saying, yeah, she's here. But, unfortunately we missed her right at that moment, but we were able to show that she was there, and get some information on that. And then, the following morning she posted she was back in New York. So we ended up having to go back in New York, and we were able to get her served that morning.
So these end up jumping states frequently like that.
They do, yeah.
What?
And that's the difficult serve. That's where we come in.
So she knew it was coming, or this person knew it was coming.
I don't know that she knew it was coming. She just is a very active person. I mean, she travels all around the world, and so yeah.
What has to happen? So if you, for example, you're at that Las Vegas hotel and you know what she looks like, you see her in a common area, are you able to go up to her and just hand her the papers and say you've been served? Or does there have to be some admission by her that she is that person?
No. If we know it's her, we have a photo and we can identify her. We can tell her she's been served. And even if they don't take the papers, you can drop them at their feet and tell them they've been served.
Do you have to have video or photo evidence of you serving the papers, or can this person in some shape just deny that they were served?
They can deny it, but we go an extra step at PHENIX. We do get covert video of the serve, and that way if there's any issues of them saying like I haven't been served, we can say no, here's a photo of the serve.
Okay, interesting. So this is, all T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Janet, what happens? Let me close everything. I have another window. Am I lagging? Good spot, bud. Okay, I'm sorry. I had many more tabs open than I thought. Okay. Better. My face looks very stern in the freeze over on the column. Okay, so Janet, what happens or what processes are held up if this person does not get served? Like, what is the consequence to your client if this person is not served?
There are other ways that the court can approve for it to be considered a legal serve. The client has to prove that all avenues have been attempted to try to get this person served, and if none of that works, they can do a publication in a newspaper saying yes, yeah, and then they can move forward with the case.
Does that only happen in extremely high-profile cases? I can't think of an example of something I've seen in the newspaper like that.
No, not just hope. No, it really is just if people are trying to evade, that's the way to, because you can only spend so much time and money trying to get somebody served. So if it's it goes that route and it's been a long time and they can't. That's the process to be able to keep moving forward. Yeah.
So, like the one trait of the investigator here is obviously patience. Patience is mandatory in this world. What are other things that might cause this service process to go poorly for less experienced investigators or investigation firms with fewer resources?
They don't. So one thing I have seen too in the past is other companies, or investigators or whatnot, won't say that they didn't find the person. They'll just say that they've been served. And so that if the person goes in and finds out that they're being sued and they're saying, I would have taken the papers, I haven't been served, that could be very, poorly for the client.
Okay, so there's firms cutting corners and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
no huge surprise there.
Yeah, exactly. So we try to do everything that we can, like, cross those T's and dot those I's, get that photo just to show, proof that, they were served,
So you mentioned attorneys and private individuals reach out to you for these services. Where is that distributed? More attorneys, more private individuals, 50-50? And what types of cases are most common in each?
Mostly attorneys that reach out to us for serves, because they're the ones who usually go into the courts and all that good stuff. So usually it's attorneys, but we do have private ones, and that's usually divorce cases.
Divorce cases. And are they typically aware of the challenge involved in this when they reach out to you? Like, have they tried to do it themselves or tried to do it with another firm and they reach out to you with hey, Janet, this is a slippery individual. This is going to be a tough one?
Usually, yes. But when they call us, it's, hey, because there are process server companies out there that just, do the basic process serves. And when I say that, I mean they just go to the house, they knock on the door, they do 3 attempts. Sheriffs also, the sheriff department, they have a officer that will go out and do the same thing, knock on the door and attempt, and then just say, nope, they weren't there, or they don't live at this address, or they don't do anything extra. So it's that extra things that need to be done to locate the person is when we're called. And a lot of times, when it gets to the attorney level, judgments, things of that nature, the subjects usually know that they're going to be sued. And then from there, it's they do everything they can to evade.
Okay, so there are more transactional services or sheriffs that are, act more like couriers driving papers to somebody than someone doing, stakeouts and using investigative strategy for difficult cases.
Exactly.
Okay, so do people reach out to you to do the simple ones, or are you more known for deal with not lesser, but firms that are more specific to that before you reach out to PHENIX, or how does that work?
Yeah, we do have the basic ones that will call as well. And how we explain it to them is that we do not, even from the starting point, we do not go and just knock on a door, because that is for us, that's heating it up. Mm-hmm. And now it could easily go from an easy serve, if just watching them walk out of the house and serving them, and it goes into a difficult one. And now we've got to really spend time to try to get them to come outside. So from the start, we with our serves, we give 5 hours of surveillance to be able to sit there and see if they come out before we even do a door knock.
I didn't think about that. So like the going right to a door knock can act just like an announcement that the cat and mouse game is on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and an unsuspecting enemy is the safest one to interact with. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And if you know you're being served and somebody's standing at your door that you don't know, there's the sign there, and they're gonna do everything they can to evade it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the basement. I'm not answering the door this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there cases where the wrong person gets served?
Oh yeah, that has happened in the past. And sometimes it's a brother, or you got to be very careful and know who your subject is.
Yeah. Okay. So it's it's patience. You measure twice and cut once before you do something like that.
Yeah. You do have homework before you leave, and go to the house or the location that you're serving.
So walk me through what it looks like when someone calls. They give you some information, say, Scott Heaton, he needs to be served. He's slippery. We don't know much about him. We know he works here. Here's his LinkedIn profile. That's all we've really seen. What does your preparation after that look like?
Sure. So we would do like a basic background to try to find the most recent address and maybe an employer, something to that effect. And then we would look on social media to see if there's a updated photo, if there's anything that they've put that where they're going to go, something to that effect. And then once we have that information, we'll plan for the stakeout.
Okay, is the right starting point almost always home or office?
Um, Usually, yes, but there's ones where we'll find out they're going to be somewhere, they're going to speak somewhere, they're going to, and then we'll go there. I mean, I've served people at Trader Joe's, I've served people at, just different conferences. If they're going to go to a conference and I know they're going to be there, we can serve them there.
So it's like the I'm just curious, what was the Trader Joe's example? You were following them around and just that was the time to strike?
That one was actually a huge one that we had done, and it was somebody that was coming over from a different country, and they were going to revoke their U.S. citizenship, and so they were only going to be in the U.S. for 7 days. So we had 7 days to locate them and serve them, and we watched them on social media, and although this person did not. Posts on social media, his friends and son did. So we were able to go down that rabbit hole and find him through other family members, and we found out what residence he was staying at, which was a friend of a family, and we did the stakeout there, and lo and behold, he leaves with his wife and son, and they go to Trader Joe's, and as they're walking into Trader Joe's, he was served.
I always just shake my head when it feels like people tattle on themselves with social media all the time. How big of a part of your career has that become, is just following people online and waiting for them to snitch on themselves?
Tremendously. Yes, tremendously. There's a lot there that people don't realize, and good for us, and they may not post online, but other people do, and they can't really stop other people from posting, so it's good for us.
Or do you have special tools that you use to monitor all of these social media profiles, or is it manual? I would have to think it's manual going through and looking, right? Or how does that work?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Some tricks up your sleeve, but
yeah, and you got to look at it this way: is sometimes, a lot of times, people don't even use their real names on social media. So you might have a name of Smurf this, or some other funny name out there that's and you don't know that and they won't even use their photo, so you won't know that that's the person. So you have to figure out a way to connect it, and that's where the different tools come in.
Oh, I'd never considered that. A lot of users, whether they're up to no good or not, kind of keep an alias online or transform their name into something similar.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. So there are tools that you're able to kind of connect these alias profiles with real people.
Correct.
Okay. So that's some of the secret sauce there. I won't ask you questions about it.
Right.
So what percentage of your cases, I'm just hard to get off this specific one, like what percentage of your cases go through someone's social media or a friend of the subject to get like the first clue or the one that closes out their location?
I'm going to say probably 75 to 85%.
Wow, that's crazy. I have to imagine this was much more difficult and time consuming 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing it 15 years, 20. Well, actually, I've been doing it a little 20, but things started changing about 15 years ago. And still to this day, the different kind of tools that we have and the different kind of databases and just things at our fingertip is astonishing.
Yeah, I think that, our generation has generations have an interesting perspective because we existed before all of this pocket technology and exist after it. Has it reduced the amount of time that you have to go on sort of just no action stakeouts? Like you're able to get hotter clues? Like contrasting earlier in your career versus now.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's actually become a little bit more, I don't want to say difficult, but more challenging in finding people because they do use different names and they do try to hide themselves and they do, so they're a little bit more cautious when it comes to certain things. So we have to dig more. That part of it I think is a little bit more.
Okay, so like as the pendulum swings towards being more open, people are cautious and then kind of deceive and hide online a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the criminals and the bad guys are always building against the good guys' tricks. Just the way that they always work. Is there, just in terms of satisfaction and enjoying the chase, do you enjoy the pre-tech surveillance or the post-tech surveillance more?
Both equally. Because there's times where I'll get into following somebody online, and I still call it surveillance because it's really what I'm doing. I'm trying to find somebody online, just as well as if I'm out in the field trying to find them. So it's kind of, and then you get that clue and you're like, yes, so you have that, but then you have the chase, out in the field, and that's just as satisfying.
So I can tell that you and you've said it as much, like you love what you do.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a big part of what makes you such a strong investigator is you like this?
Oh yeah. You have to love investigating in order to be a good investigator, because if you don't, you're going to miss a lot of clues.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of jobs are like this, but you're in particular where there's just an easy opportunity to phone it in and half-ass it, so to speak.
Sure.
Is that something that you see out of a lot of people who get into investigations, is they're not passionate about it, so they struggle to develop their skill set?
Sure. I have seen that over the years, and that's when you just kind of have the conversation with them, yes, this can be, nitty gritty stuff. You have to do the nitty gritty stuff to get out and do the other stuff. Mm-hmm. You cannot not do that, because if you just grab the case and go, you've missed 5 steps. And you're going to be chasing your tail out there in the field trying to do it. So I've had that conversation throughout the years, training, different investigators and different things, and if I see that they don't care about doing the nitty gritty, I always try to talk them out of doing something else.
Yeah, I think in almost every profession, people get into it by thinking about the most glamorous portion of it. Is that just electrifying feeling of finding the subject? But the reality of most professions is a lot of it under the surface is boring, difficult preparation, research, grinding. Right,
and waiting. A lot of people do not understand, like you said, you have to have patience in this industry, and you really do, because if there's sometimes that you just have to wait. You cannot go and pound on a door, and you can't, because then you're going to blow your cover, so that waiting sometimes is just necessary.
Yeah, I mean, is it fair to say that newer investigators, it's experience helps you not act on impulse, sort of, because you know the repercussions of acting on impulse? Is that something you've seen in the field?
Oh, yeah. They've blown their cover, way too soon, and I always, that's one of the things that when I do training, I always say start out slow. Learn the pattern, sit back and just see what's happening, because if you know their pattern, you know what time they leave, they mow the lawn on Wednesday, just the different, you learn them, that's going to be your opportunity to set up and pull in closer and get the video you need.
I would assume with the stakes involved in what you're doing, your typical client would rather pay for 3 days of surveillance for a successful outcome than 1 day of surveillance with blown cover and coming up craps.
Yes.
And sometimes it's probably as simple as that, is you wait for the time where you're certain you're going to get the result.
Yep, exactly. And it's the risk versus reward. And that's another term that I use when I'm training, the new investigators or whatnot. You never want to risk being burned. So it's always better to pull off a case, sit back and wait a little bit before you try to get the evidence. A lot of them will get excited. They want to, just pull in and get it. And it's like, no, is the risk that you're going to take right now to get this worth the reward? If it's not, then hold off.
Yeah, and then there's really no instruction manual or SOPs you can put together for what is the right way to assess risk reward. You just have to feel it and know and recognize the patterns.
Yeah, and I have actually a case that I can give you a perfect example on. So we followed this subject. He was claiming knee injury, back injury, elbow injury, the whole 9 yards. And we sat there in the community or whatnot, and nothing. There was no movement. And we're like, okay, we're watching the social medias, and the client was like, well, maybe we should do a door knock. And you got to be real careful with door knocks, because nowadays you got the Ring doorbells. Now they have your image. You try to go follow them, and they're like, this is the same woman that was at my front door. So you have to pick and choose when you want to do a door knock. And so I told her, let's hold off. And one thing you have to listen to is your gut instinct in the industry. So I had said, let's hold off. I have a feeling he's going to do something. It shows on his Facebook that he is an active person. And I know that it's been a couple days, but he is an active person. No need to do a door knock yet. So we the following morning, we go out there. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden he comes out and he's carrying a fishing pole. So we were like, okay, he's going to go fishing. All right. Then all of a sudden he comes out and he's got this long, like wakeboard. And we're like, oh, so he's going to a lake. All right. Well, we follow him, and he goes and he picks up a jet ski. And I'm like, no, he's not going to go on a jet ski. Right. And maybe he's going to meet family out there or something because he's injured. Lo and behold, on that day, we got him riding a scooter, riding the wakeboard, riding the jet ski, all while he is out on injury that he can't work.
Oh boy, those are hard to do when you're too injured to work.
Yeah.
Got him. So that's incredible. So the junior investigator, everyone wants the result. And when you're waiting, you want to go create the result and force it. But the senior instinct takes over and says, let's hurry up and wait. And then you get the big pop.
Yeah.
How good does it feel when you see this person hop on that jet ski and get the picture?
Yeah, you just know that you got the money shot, you're like, okay, it is proof that they are not being truthful with their injury claim. And, that's very important to me, because people are hurt, and they, some people, and they need the benefits. But the people who are not, and they just want to use that, it makes it difficult and for those who need it to get it.
Yeah, I mean, cheaters and scammers always funnel money and resources away from the honest people involved. So, I mean, there is to some level, there's virtue involved in what you guys are doing with that.
Yeah. So I always enjoy those ones.
Okay, that's really satisfying. Is there anything else that people don't know about process service that you think is important to know? And kind of close out with that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. For us, for PHENIX, I would say, don't always start it with the door knock, because that is heating up your serve. It really depends on what kind of case it is, and how hostile the person is. There's a lot that goes into it before you want to just go and do a door knock, because it could just make it more difficult than it needed to be.
So a lot of this is preparation and kind of deciding what is the persona of this person, the subject. Are they active? Are they hostile? Are they expecting this? Where are they going to be? And a lot of it is thinking and getting into the mindset before you start.
Yes. Yeah, because people do get upset when they get served, and that term of "don't shoot the messenger" is true. They get upset at the server, so you have to know who you're serving.
Yeah, it's, I guess, preparation prevents bad things from happening in all walks.
Yes. Yeah.
Janet, this was really interesting. As always, there's more to it than you see in movies and TV.
Yes.
And thanks for kind of pulling the curtain back and letting us see what it's really like.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Awesome. Well, that was Janet Henson, Director of Surveillance at PHENIX, signing out.